Hey folks, I just left the Snake River manufacturing plant in Caldwell, Idaho, and I'm headed to Dworshak Reservoir. I grabbed one of our single trailers, and we got a little nice addition, nice accessory that I'm just going up there to do some marketing videos to kind of show off what this this walking platform. You know, when you launch a boat and the trailer is submerged, and you need to you want to keep your boots dry if you can, not just walk out in there, because what you're going to do afterwards, you're going to hop in the truck and track all that water. Hopefully you have floor mats that are deep enough to handle some of that water. But you know, it's just nice to keep your feet dry if you can when you walk the tongue and then walk further back to push the kayak off the trailer, you know. And I've done videos to show how the rock and rollers help that go easy, but we want to make it as easy as possible. Same thing on the way back in, but that is what I'm doing. Heading up there, spend some time on the ramp doing, you know, that explanation, but I think I'm probably going to catch some smallmouth while I'm up there too. So it's taken, well, I think 7 hours to get this far. Had to do a detour because I think there was a rock slide on some road. They closed an entire road for like 20 miles coming up. I had to backtrack. And yeah, it's taken that long, and I still have an hour to go. 17 miles, which means I'm going like 18 mile an hour the rest of the way. So, got a little bit of an issue. That's the road I need to go for the next 50 minutes. It's not plowed. Like, not even a little bit. Like, they plowed up into it to clear it, but yeah. All right, time to make plan B. All right, so I am retracing my steps and being really careful not to like stop navigation on Google Maps, because the second you do that, you lose the map. It says, oh, I can't tell you where to go anymore because I don't know where you are anymore. What's funny is if you keep it running, even though it's trying to reroute you to the original route that you can't go on because there's no signal out here, it'll lose it. But somehow it maintains it when you're navigating. I can't make sense of that.
Do you think we want to get that shovel and get some of that and get this kind of under there? Right.
So it's the next morning, and I slept in the rooftop tent there after getting both truck and trailer entirely stuck in all this mud. And called Steve.
Oh, that is.
So yeah, I got all that stuck.
That's what I'm saying.
He's coming to rescue me. Like, I worked on it, I don't know, 3 hours. So I'm out of there. The trailer's still in there. Steve's gonna go in after it. So I guess he's got better tires. Give myself eyes. Heading back. Thanks for helping, Ian. So I backed into the trailer after I had taking it off, hoping that would help me, and I shattered the plastic fender. So these guys are setting me up with a new one.
Learned that the hard way.
All right, Steve, when there's failure, there's always a lesson learned, right?
Yep.
Mine is never have blind faith in Google Maps blue line telling you this is how you should go. Second part is when you think it's too late and you're committed and you got to keep going, you're wrong. You should stop.
Oh man, you know, the silver lining in it is we got to experience firsthand cold fingers, muddy trailers, and pushing and pulling and yanking with the chains.
I'm not seeing the positive part yet.
But we know firsthand what our anglers are going to be going through if they get into this kind of situation.
It's true.
And it helps us with better design decisions as we look at some of the more fine-tuned motor skills required if you have to replace any small hardware. Those kind of experiences make for a really good design input as we build premium trailers.
My wife, well, I'm not going to debt. She goes, why? Because the road's gone. So it's like,
So
I changed gears and got on the water up here about 7 this morning. So
sounds good. So Jeff is going to make his way over to Freeman, and he's in a big gray Dodge with the coolest trailer behind him.
Right.
You can't miss it. What color? What kind of kayak are you in?
I'm gonna the green camo PA 14 360.
Green camo PA 14 360.
Yeah.
It's been a pretty drive, even yesterday. It was a beautiful drive up. Saw lots of wildlife. I have seen elk towards dusk last night. I saw 5 or 6 elk cross in front of me, and one stopped, and we just sort of stared at each other for 60 seconds, and then he moved on. Lots of turkeys. I've yet to see any skinwalkers or Bigfoot. I haven't seen those two, but for sure, lots of nature out here. It's a chilly morning. I think that water temperature is about 42 degrees, and I'm getting ready to launch. It sure would be nice if I didn't have to get my feet in the water to do that. Keep your feet dry when you launch. This is an option for the Snake River manufacturing trailers, these walking platforms, and they fit right on the side. There's 2 of them here, and nice solid platform for launching and bringing it back in at the end of the day. All right, I've finally launched, and I'm gonna meet a fellow kayak angler who's out here that Steve Carroll hooked me up with. Rick is somewhat local here and fishes this body of water quite a bit, so he got out earlier this morning, and we'll catch up with him and see what he's figured out on the day.
June, July,
Sure.
and it's not bad. But you just gotta watch out for the logging trucks. But I didn't think that we'd have that much snow up there still.
Well, Granddad had the snow, and where I was just mud from all the melted snow.
Right.
And it just, you know, I had too much faith in that path for too long, and by the time I lost faith, I was.
I usually don't. Well, I've only been up there twice.
Yeah.
And it's usually I go up the end of June.
Okay.
When just as the water level tops.
Yeah.
And then when that happens, and it's gorgeous, and I know it's accessible and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to go up there. I just haven't, you know, with the weather, because I get rain and snow at my house, and I'm at 3,200 feet.
Right.
So, you know.
Yeah, the road to go down there was snowed in, and I mean they had plowed up to a certain point, and,
right.
And it was piled up there. All right, Rick, tell me about your boat.
This is I had a 2021, I got a 2022 when I had a hull issue. I love the Hobie, the pedal drive, 14 foot. I got a Minn Kota Tarova on the front, 12 volt, 55 foot-pound thrust with a mount that I built. So it 2 pins and it slides off and unplugs and it's off.
Nice.
I run a Garmin 93 with live scope, and I'm a soft plastic guy. I love to finesse fish, and I don't even carry a bait casting reel. I carry 11 spinning reels.
Right on.
But you know, just all.
Tell me about you got a forward-facing sonar mount on your left there.
This is a Summit mount that I have just changed and modified and adapted and worn out and broke, and
yeah.
And I just fixed it again yesterday. Just the aluminum shaft, and I just made the mount on a Hobie flat, the flat panel Hobie H-rail mount.
Okay.
And I just put a carriage bolt through the back of it, and I have a T-handle on the inside so I can tighten it and loosen it real easy.
Nice.
And it just slides up and sits right there when I'm motoring on the water, so I don't drag it along.
Perfect. So I've crossed the reservoir. Rick was going to work this bank going up to that point. He says he's going up about 1.5 miles. I said I'm going to work this opposite shoreline, do the same thing, and we're going to cross midday. He says he's fishing in the dark, which I'm good with that. I will be out here that late as well, and I just figure I'd kind of like to end the day on the side that the ramp is if the wind gets nasty. I want to not have to cross the middle part, and right now it's fairly calm. So at this point, coming up on this bank, I'm going to slow this down to probably about 2 miles an hour. I have the 7-inch scented jerk shad on that sled head that I make with the swim jig, and all I'm doing is looking at the forward-facing sonar. I got a funny return here and a line there, but look, that was something. That's what I'm looking for. Oh man, I think I just ran over a school of kokanee. They were right there. See if I can turn this around. Might be right behind me. Yep, there's a couple marks. So I'm gonna cruise and look for that. Just because you see the kokanee doesn't mean that you have smallmouth there. You have to find the school of kokanee, then look. You know, they'll be in a cluster here, and then underneath it you'll see 1 or 2 dots. You know, that isn't showing up real good, but if I get it to show up later, I'm gonna show you what that looks like. I don't know why this false return lane here is showing up, but somewhere out here I keep seeing something pop up. Yep. So all I'm doing is panning left and right slowly, looking at where that's pointed. And man, where'd you go? You see it for a second, you're like, is that real? And then it disappears because they're on the move. Yeah. We'll get closer to this. see if that's a school of kokanee. It might be. I'm gonna troll deep diving shad wrap for a while I'm doing this thing with a forward facing sonar. I do have a Omega Pro rod holder, and I'm putting that on the right side. Sort of a passive way just to cover water, and you know, just always have something back there just in case. I think my speed is 1.6 is a good speed, I think. All right, I had been trolling the deep diving shad wrap for about an hour. No takers at 1.6, maybe 1.7 mile an hour. I did just cruise over an area where I just saw a lot of fish on one side of the point, and the side that it was on kind of makes sense to me because we've had this exposure to the facing south, so you're getting some sunlight on it, and the southerly breeze when you do have things warming up, gentle breeze piling up on this bank, I think can get them, I don't know, it can just give you better water temps. So I'm going to go back over that shoreline, back away from this, and it's not shallow that I'm finding them, but it's within a cast, so maybe a third of a cast off the shoreline. And you know, I mean, you see where the shoreline is. As soon as I pull away from it, I'm in 7 feet. These fish were 15 to 30 right along that bank there. So I'm gonna pick it apart. I'm gonna throw the 7-inch scented jerk shad and see if I can get any takers. All right, those are schools of kokanee right there. So I look for dark marks around it, and I'm not seeing any of them. So they're largely unmolested. But there's bait fish here, and here's a main lake point. No coincidence. So I'm reeling it in to make another cast, and I see my bait come up, and I'm reeling, and then I stop because I see something behind it. I don't know how big that smallmouth was, but it was big. It was not 17 inches. It was significant, and it just came up and kissed it, and I could see part of the white disappear. I didn't feel anything, so they're here, and yeah, that was a good fish. Let me throw the 4 on him. He at least was looking at the 7. Just not aggressive enough to say, yep, I'm gonna eat it. All right, I'm gonna hop out, walk this bank. I'm anchored up, and I'll probably take my anchor, flop it up here. That way I make sure if the wind picks up, I'm not wondering who can get my boat for me. And yeah, I have faith this whole bank had fish on the forward facing sonar. You know, if I walk the bank here, throw the I'm gonna start with what got bit. I think it was a kokanee. I had him on for a second, but for sure the bigger one that came up and ate hit that 7-inch scented jerk shad. So I don't know, I just feel like this is as much activity as I've seen, so might as well walk the bank, not park on top of them with a boat. A little more stealthy. Not skunked. Oh, little dink. I actually saw him run up and grab it. So, you know, same area. I had one come up that, you know, 20 for sure. For sure. Like, they're here more than just this little guy. You've been eating fish, not cross. That was, I lost him, but that was a kokanee hitting the 4-inch scented jerk shad. Interesting. I'm gonna keep working the points since that's where that one big one came up and ate the 7-inch scented jerk shad, but not entirely. Like, he grabbed it in this section right here without getting the hook. So, but that's where he was positioned. So I'm gonna try the Nessie here in, you know, windblown points. We'll just go from point to point to point. Got the second one. I decided to go with the 5-inch scented jerk shad and basically straight retrieve it like I was doing with the 7, because, you know, I've had a couple fish so far, well, 2 fish, and they were good ones, grab the 7-inch on the back half. So I'm giving them a smaller target, and I'll show you what I'm doing. I mean, it's the same thing I did here in May, and you know, just a straight retrieve. So cast it out. I'll tell you what it is. It's Charlie Brewer slider fishing. So that speed. Keep it pointed at it. Keeps your line taut, but it isn't moving it through real fast. And this thing is just kind of straight, just no tail movement, just cruising through. All right, just straight swimming. Not the size we're looking for, though. Sorry, did that seem ungrateful? I'm glad you bit. What'd you get into?
Nothing.
Nothing?
A lot of little nibble bites, probably trout.
Yeah. I feel like it's successful that I've figured out that there's a bunch of them on this shoreline, and that's, I don't know, that's a win for when things change. You know, we get towards evening.
This place is so dynamic because, like I said, at another foot and a half, 2 feet of water, and they move.
Yep. I did mark a lot of fish right around the corner on that sand lane. I know you mentioned the sand was part of it. It was right on the edge of the sand in this dark kind of shale. You know, that border looked good to them, I guess. Oh, what did I get? That's a trout. I caught a trout. Rainbow trout. Nice. Yep, there's a couple marks. They're right under me, though. I think they're going to be hard to catch. We'll see. See ya. All right, it has been a long day. and clouds are coming in. Definitely need to get back to the ramp, set up camp, get ready for the rain. But as I'm heading back, I'm just sort of scanning, swinging left and right. And if I see something out there, I really look at this thing like it's a flashlight. I'm shining a flashlight down there. And when you shine a flashlight, you for sure see the ground. That's the bottom line. But if there's a moth or a bunch of gnats or other bugs flying around, you see those too, and that's what we're looking for. Just keep scanning. If I see something, great. I got that guy tied on. We can chuck at it, but otherwise, you know, Dworshak has giants. This place is amazing, but doesn't just give them to you. Haven't had many bites today. Had 2 interactions with big fish that did not commit. The second one, where I was walking the bank, he did the whole rubber band thing where I set the hook and he's got the tail and it's bungeeing around. So hopefully with the change in weather, they commit to the eat a little bit more. I still love being here knowing that the next cast could be that freight train giant personal best. It happened last time. Took 3 days. Today's day 1. All right, that was a very long day, and I'm here at one of the campsites on Dworshak. Pulled the trailer back in here. Gonna do a little bit of rigging, getting ready for tomorrow. One thing I've already done is added a medium light. I pulled out of the rod box and got a little bit lighter action to work this 4-inch scented jerk shad. It seems like the rotation of the 7, the 4, and then towards the end of the day today I went with the 5. So, but it for sure is very nice to have all of this light to rig your stuff, get ready for the next day.